Hey, welcome to another episode of News You Can Use. I'm your host, Brandon Gonez, and today we have a story about a black woman who was beat up by her white neighbor. So the woman's name is Vanessa Alexander, and she was actually beat up by a 300-pound white man, her neighbor, after her dog ran into his backyard. Here are a few photos of what Vanessa looked like after she was beat up. You can see just how horrific these images are. We actually have a News You Can Use exclusive where we're going to talk to Vanessa about what took place. Vanessa Alexander, thanks so much for joining us here on News You Can Use.
Thank you for having me.
Can you run me back in terms of what happened on June 20th?
On June 20th, I was beaten pretty badly by my neighbor. It was a nice day. It was Father's Day. I was going to go to the cemetery to go see my pops, but I took Gigi, my puppy, 10-month-old puppy, to the beach the day before. So I had a lot of sand in my car and I was pretty exhausted. So I was like, let me just clean it and I'm just going to chill for today. And this is happening at the front of the house. I was cleaning my car and my immediate neighbor that lives right beside me is Tony. He's a nice old 97-year-old Italian guy. He's the only one that I really talk to on the street. And he has two kids that normally come and rotate to watch over him. So his daughter was watching over Tony that day and offered me some cake.
So what happened? So what happened when you were hanging out with your neighbors?
When I went over I sat down right in front of their door. They have a chair that's one of the spots that Tony likes to sit, but they were sitting at the top balcony, which is at the front of the house. They have a small little balcony there. So she handed me the cake and Gigi took off and I saw her running after a stray cat or some kind of bunny rabbit and in the direction of the attacker, which is right beside Tony's house. His name's Shelly, and went into his backyard. And I stayed on Tony's property and I called over Gigi and she came back within like 10 seconds and she knew she was in trouble and I still had to discipline her. So I took her to my backyard. So I went down Tony's steps, up my steps and put her in my backyard where it's barricaded. And I went back down my steps, up Tony's steps to sit down and continue eating cake with Tony and Maria, with his daughter. And then that's when from like the side, I can hear somebody, yelling out, "Hey, you buddy, pal, I'm talking to you, punk," using those kind of terms. And I've never spoke to Shelly before.
What was he saying to you? What was he calling you?
He called me buddy, pal, and punk. Those were the three terms that he just like arrived home in his driveway. And that's when he approached me and he's like, cursing and saying, "Hey, I'm effing talking to you. Hey, pal, you and your effing dog have been chilling in my backyard." So he's referring to past events, and I've never been in his backyard before. And I told him, I'm like, you don't approach me like that. That's what I said to him. And before I was even able to explain to him that I've never been there, it was like right away there was arms, like fists being thrown.
Fists being thrown at you?
Yeah, like right away. Like all I said to him was, "Don't approach me like that." And as soon as I said that, I just remember getting punched in the face, my eyes. He smashed my head on the concrete and kept going down on my
So
head.
hold up. First off, I'm so sorry that you had to endure that. Can you describe to me what does this neighbor Shelly look like?
He's massive. He looks like he's in his 50s or 60s. He drives like a scooter that's mainly for elderly people. But he looks like he's about 300 pounds. He's 3 times my weight. He's a big guy. I'm 110 pounds. I never expected him to come like to fight.
So what was happening next? How many punches did he throw? What happened next?
I hit the ground pretty fast, and I just remember my head just going back and forth, him scraping me on the concrete. That's why I'm keeping my do rag on to protect the new skin from exposed to the sun. He scraped me, ended up giving me two separate stitches, a total of 8. Some of my eyebrow is gone, but I would say it was about plus 30 punches. And he just kept going, and I remember I was screaming like stop, but it got to a point where I couldn't even say anything anymore, and it didn't even matter because he was gonna keep going. I had to kind of wait till he was done. Even Maria was at the balcony because she can see everything. I can hear her while I'm down. I can hear her saying stop, like what are you doing, like screaming. Um, and he wouldn't stop to either me or her. So I just had to focus on bracing myself for more impact.
So who called the police? Did anybody call the police?
Um, my friend called the police. Well, when I realized he never punched me anywhere on my body, just my head and my face.
But that's still your body. That's still your body.
Yeah, definitely. But it's just like I didn't have anywhere else. Like any bruises or abrasions that I had was just for me trying to crawl away. So when I felt like there was no more punches, when I realized, because I was pretty like in and out of, it was just a lot of so much confusion going on. I crawled to feel Tony's railing because I just know the layout. It's the exact same as mine. And I felt the railing, and then I went down the stairs that directed me towards my place, and I just laid there on my kitchen floor, and I managed to call my friend, and she was like, "What happened? Are you okay?" Because I said, "Help! Just help me." I didn't really have enough energy to explain in detail, and I just knew she would take care of everything. She called 911. She called my mom, my sister, everyone came. My friend came. When she came, she told me that I was unresponsive, and she came before EMS. So EMS came pretty fast. The police, from what she told me, they said that they had other calls. And I've been in contact with victim services, and even that process is taking a long time. Like up to now, I still haven't gotten a counselor that I can talk to frequently. The only services that they have like that is urgent, because it's called victim quick response. You get someone that you talk to just one time, and it's not necessarily you're going to talk to them the same person again. So it's like you're just saying your story over and over again, and that's already enough. And that's why I try to get out the house, go to a park, and do as much as I know to try to clear my mind, because
Mm-hmm.
the only things that I see when my eyes were covered is the last memory that that's the only thing that's going in my head. It's the last thing that I remember seeing, which is him. I have to be the one replaying that in my head until my eyes can get better. And even now, it's not like how it used to be. It's it's one of those things I have to wait and continue to heal. But it's not only physical. A lot of this is mental. I live by myself there, and you would want that kind of support at least a week from the incident, and knowing that they cut off the criminal forgot the name of it, that board. It's been cut off since 2019 because of they needed some funds somewhere, so they targeted that criminal. I forgot the name of it, but there's only so much that victim quick response can do. That has always been there before 2019. It's even the care afterwards. Everything is lacking, because there's some people out there that definitely need that.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely need that. it's hard.
I'm so sorry that you've had to go through this. You shouldn't have had to go through this, especially since it's because just because your dog went into his backyard.
Yeah.